The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
From the gridiron to the ball diamonds, from the hardwood to the ice rinks, from the gridiron queen. If it makes headlines, it's fair game on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. I'm going to be straight up. I don't know what that was, why that stopped in the middle like that.
Because it doesn't give a shit about that stuff. It just wants to get straight to the show.
Well, let's get straight to the show. Welcome to the Sports Reel podcast here on the PFC Entertainment Network. Along with Tim Sheridan, I'm Jason Klaus. We certainly appreciate you tuning in here this week for what's going to be a roller coaster ride. I feel like right out of the gate, we're having a little bit of excitement along those lines. Let me just say this. I do not know why last week the live stream feed for both Facebook and YouTube simultaneously went down. But if you watched us over on Spotify, you will know that the show does show up in its entirety. So even though it was completely out of our hands, I do apologize for the inconvenience. You know, it's embarrassing. It's not anything we're doing. It's for whatever reason. At first, we kind of thought it may have been a Facebook thing. Did we say something we shouldn't have and got flagged and pulled?
You're damn right we did. I just don't know what it was. YouTube didn't like it either, son of a bitch.
See, and that's when I realized, okay, it's not either one of these. It's the distributor. And so hopefully, I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to get through the duration of this broadcast here tonight and still remain live on our respective platforms. Mr. Sheridan, always a pleasure. This is one of the highlights that I look forward to each and every week, sitting here for an hour or so bullshitting with one of my good friends. How are you today, man? How's your week been?
So far, I mean, today my work tried to commit murder on me. We were stupid fucking busy. I'm tired. I didn't have time to think. It was just go, car after car after car after car after car. Yeah, good day, but let me tell you, I am fucking wiped out, Jason. Like, I am ready to pound a couple beers while I'm down here and then tuck myself, well, actually shower, because I'm a gross motherfucker right now. I'm just going to be honest. I sweated my ass off today. It was hot, and it was disgusting. And I just threw this shirt on to make do for the time being because I had to hurry up and eat and get down here so that way we can record, because this shit's important to me and I look forward to it every week too. This is one of my highlights of the week every week, is to get down here and bullshit. I'm alone this week in the studio, so I have all this fucking elbow room. Hopefully that'll be changing soon. I think there's plans in the works for that. We'll get to that eventually. But yeah, good week. Just tired. We got a guy on vacation, so everything's coming down to me and one other guy, and they're killing us. They are committing murder. I'm thinking about calling the police and pressing charges.
Oh man, I feel for you. I truly do. It's been pretty busy where I'm at too, but you know what you do and what I do are they're not the same. You know, you not to say that we don't each endure our more than wanted levels of abuse and punishment. But man, I know what you do for a living. I know it's not easy, and I have all the respect in the world for you.
If anybody wants to know, like, I'm not giving away where we work, but Jason makes them and I fix them.
There you go. Perfect way to say it. If you want to be a part of the show, I have just posted the link on the live chat on the Facebook feed. You hit that, it's going to bring you into a virtual waiting room. I get the notification. You get to be on the show. Last week, we had a special guest with Tim, and then we had another guest on the show towards the end of it. And I really do appreciate that dynamic, that people are digging what we're doing, and they're going to take the time to either at bare minimum watch or listen to our show. But then they are invested enough that they want to be a part of the conversation. And man, Tim, it's those little things, brother, that it makes me know, like, we are moving forward. It's not always going to be a huge leap, but it's these little things, man. And you keep adding up the little things. The next thing you know, you're on a fast track to something pretty fucking awesome. And I'm more than goddamn here for it. I know. And if you can't tell, I'm a little fired the fuck up this week. So there's no telling what you're going to get.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, no, we're on a growing pattern right now, and we're not going to give away anything yet, you know what I mean, or even talk about what's down the line. But things could get interesting here in the future. For the Sports Reel podcast, I feel like this podcast has been taking off pretty well. We get great feedback. The one thing I do have to say, I've been looking at the analytics on Facebook alone. I'd say almost 40% of the people that view our shit do not, like the page. So please like the page, follow the page. Same thing on YouTube. Yeah, and let's get this going. And just like our fucking page. Help us grow. You know what I mean? And join our show. Every week we post this link in here. If you want to come out here and just bitch about how bad the Tigers are doing right now, you could come on here and do that. I'm sure Jim will be on in here in a little bit. But yeah, we'll get to the Tigers in a little bit, but it's kind of a fucking dumpster fire right now.
It's this. We'll wait a little bit to see if Jim Burgett is going to join the show, because I have no doubt he has more than an animated opinion about what's been happening here lately. Post All-Star break, this was the one thing I was worried about. Stumping out of the gate after All-Star break, and that's after a not so great appearance at the All-Star game for 5 of our players here. We'll get to that in a little bit. Tim, let's talk about this, because this came across my radar late last night.
Real quick before you get that, I think you're about to bring that up. I also, if I don't hear from Dave today, I think we need to send out a wellness check, because he hasn't missed this many shows. And you have a PBA report to do. So please, Dave, where the fuck are you? We want to make sure you're okay.
For sure, man. Like, we will not hesitate to to send somebody over just to make sure you're golden.
Something last night came across your radar. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
No, it's fine. I
fired up and I'm fucking you up.
I know it's cool, because if Dave does not show up on here, I am going to be a little bit worried. But I have no doubt he's if he can, he will. For sure. Something came across my radar late last night, and it immediately pissed me off. And that is the news that the Michigan Panthers are among 4 teams that are going to be relocated for the 2026 season. Now, this comes after Michigan has been a well-established and one of the more popular franchises in what was the USFL. So when this merger happened between the XFL and the USFL, the Michigan Panthers were one of the teams representing what was going to be the USFL conference. I loved it. I thought it was great to have that tradition. And this season, you saw an uptick in attendance. There was an uptick in interest, fanfare for this team, especially as they would go on to represent the USFL conference in the UFL championship game. It blows my goddamn mind that they are one of the 4 teams that are going to be relocated. And another one of those teams are the 3-time in a row, either USFL or UFL champion Birmingham Stallions. And it's like, you look at it and they have completely wiped out.
Yeah, you're getting a phone call, Jason. I can hear it on here.
I'm like, is that you or is that me?
That's you. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, what the fuck? My phone was doing that to me last week. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then Eric's phone was going off last week. And he's like, call from New York. I ain't answering that. Like, maybe it's Vince.
So essentially what they've done, if you look at the 4 teams that are being relocated, they have wiped out the USFL portion of this merger. The USFL teams are the ones being relocated. And I'm seeing cities like Tampa Bay. I'm seeing cities like not St. Louis. There was one in Ohio, maybe Cleveland.
Why the fuck would you move a team from Detroit to Cleveland? You know what I mean? Come on.
Why are you moving a team out of here anyway?
Especially a team that's on the uptick. I mean, honestly, we've seen the, fucking attendance is going up. Like, why would you move a team till you see what it could grow into? You're only going into the 3rd season of this new adaptation, you know what I mean? Or new iteration of the thing. Like, why fucking move the team? We all need to stand up and say, no, you're not moving our fucking team. Like, if we stand up, I also heard, and I'll get into it in a minute. I'll let you finish your little thing, but I've heard some other stuff too. So, but I'll let you finish your rant for a minute.
And that's all it is a rant, because obviously, in the grand scheme of things, I have to look at reality, something behind the scenes from a business perspective. Lets these people know it is in their best interest to move the franchise from Detroit. I wonder if the Detroit Lions were not in the position that they are now, would there have been more of a fight to keep the Panthers here? But because the entire state of Michigan is wrapped up in Lion mania, and justifiably so, that has completely overshadowed anything football-wise in this state, as much as I hate to say it. The UFL and the Michigan Panthers, more specifically, they gave this area's football fans, because this is a hot football state now, with the college teams, with the Lions, across the board. I feel like the UFL gave football fans an opportunity to enjoy professional football at very much more family-friendly prices. Like, you could, you could spend an afternoon at a Panthers game and not break the bank, whereas you got to think about refinancing your fucking car in order to go to a Lions game and actually enjoy the experience and what all it has to offer. So I personally am extremely disappointed that the Michigan Panthers are on the chopping block and are not going to be moving forward with the UFL, which brings me to this question. What was the fucking purpose of acquiring or merging the USFL if you were just going to... They totally WCW the USFL is in wrestling terms.
Yeah.
All right.
So what I'm hearing, it might have more to do with the actual availability of Ford Field when they play. So that might have something to do with it. Honestly, I love the fact that the Panthers have been here and they did have a rise in attendance this year, but Ford Field, the owners, obviously the Ford family, they have to look at it this way and go, can we take the stadium on these days and fill it with this many fans, or can we book concerts in these stadiums, which are going to pack these stadiums and bring us in a lot more money? I think it's more of a business thing than it is anything, which fucking sucks, because I really like that the Panthers were here. There's successful teams. I mean, fuck, the Lions got Jake Bates from them. We would never know who the fuck Jake Bates was unless it was because of the Panthers. It's a cool thing to have in this state, to have one of these teams. Spring football, I think, is starting to gain a little traction now. It's taken a couple of years. They're becoming successful. I would love to keep the team here. Please, the Ford fucking family who's in charge of Ford Field, please just let these guys stay here. Fight to keep these guys here, because we need this here. And I guarantee as the years go on, attendance will grow and it will become something big. You just have to ride out the storm. You know, anytime anything starts out, I mean, we brought this up on the show before with Hogan and Bischoff's new fucking wrestling thing. I think they sold 300 tickets to their first show, and that was supposed to be the hot big thing. Maybe it can be in 10 years. Who the fuck knows? But you know, it takes time to do this. And I was actually really looking forward to having a working relationship with the Panthers. I know last season we were supposed to go do a live show from there. I don't know what happened. Things just didn't work out, but I was hoping to do that again, or, you know, get into talks and works this year to possibly get into that position again this year. But it looks like we're going to be out there. So we're going to be looking for something else. Maybe we stick to local hockey. Who knows? That would be kind of cool if we can get a working relationship with what is Flint's team there that play all the time at Perani?
Firebirds.
The Firebirds. Maybe we can go do a live show from the Firebirds. We got to start looking at all these possibilities to grow. Hopefully the UFL changes their mind and they keep the team in Michigan. Ford Field, that might have been the issue, but I'm sure there's other options out there besides these major stadiums to run a football game out of, whether you look for a college stadium or something else that you can run the thing out of, you know what I mean? But let's try to keep a team here. So everybody needs to get online and they need to bitch, because bitching works. Not going to lie. Like, if you show enough support, they will keep the team here. But we all need to get together, and I'm voicing my opinion right now on the line. Keep this fucking team here because this state needs it. This is a fucking sports town. Like, why move a team out of a sports town? Like, you're not going to get any better than Michigan. This team's going to go wherever it is. It's going to fail. So just keep it here because it's growing.
Absolutely. Yeah, just such a disappointment. And like Tim was saying, you know, there's nothing. I mean, the answer is always no unless you ask. So, and there's also that philosophy, you know, if it makes enough noise, if it squeaks enough, you're going to have to address it and oil it so it stops the squeaking. But, I mean, we're talking about a professional football franchise, a professional football league, and I understand business practices in a lot of aspects are allowed to disqualify common decency, common sense. I mean, the basic elements that make life cool. Business don't care about that shit. All they care about is how much money is in their bank account. Which
exactly.
I get it. But
yeah, we'd have teams in Oakland still.
had to scratch that scab, didn't you? The availability of Ford Field thing, like, I could totally see where that would be taken into consideration, but there's plenty of other venues in the metropolitan Detroit area. Like, I don't believe there's a whole hell of a lot going on at the Big House at that time of year, especially on the weekends. And it's the Michigan Panthers playing at Michigan Stadium. I mean, the shit kind of writes itself.
Yeah. Yeah, let's fucking do this. I don't know what they're looking at, but everybody needs a bitch so we can make this happen. Whether it's at Ford Field, whether it's at Michigan State, who gives a fuck? Like, somewhere in the state of Michigan, this team needs to survive. So let's fucking just voice our opinions and let's get it out there. And you're talking about, you know, you're never going to know unless you ask. And that's why I keep putting out there Dan Campbell. One day, this podcast, we're gonna have you on here. Just put it out in the universe.
Can I tell you something about that real quick?
Yeah.
As a sidebar?
Yeah.
For shits and giggles, I did a Google search on how to book Dan Campbell. So it takes me to his like agent. You want to take a guess? To have Dan Campbell come do a live appearance.
Well, we're not talking live appearance. We're talking
No, I know. This is at the top of the scale because you don't get prices for online or virtual presentation. But to hire him to come to a venue, you want to take a guess as to how much it starts at?
Probably what, $5,000?
How about $100,000?
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're on a different level here. We are a highly sought after podcast. Highly sought after, growing. And nobody pays for podcast guests. I'm just gonna put that out there. That shit's not real. So, I don't think I'd ever be in the position that we ever got to the point to pay for a podcast guest. So Dan Campbell, just as a couple Lions fans here who talk highly of your team and just want to get down to it, we'd love to have you on here for 15 20 minutes to have a little interview, get into the mind of Dan Campbell. And I want to grovel at your feet about what you've done for this city, because you've not only turned around the Lions, you've turned around the whole state. I mean, everybody's got this grit mentality now, and all our teams are kicking ass because of it. So Dan Campbell, just putting it out in the universe.
Hey, again, you don't know unless you ask, whether it's asking the universe or, I'm
all about the universe, Jason.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm right there with
anybody else from the Lions. I'd take anybody from the Lions. You get the ball boy, the towel guy, the guy who fills the Gatorade bucket. Let's go.
The water boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We still haven't heard whether or not Dave is on here yet, so we'll hold off on the PBA report.
I haven't chimed up the music yet. As soon as I see him, I'm chiming up the music.
There you go.
You have that on standby. Because I know Tim's 2 minutes of golf is going longer than 2 minutes today, because we had a major this past weekend that turned out fucking awesome. I don't know if you watched, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm still waiting for Jim. Where the fuck is Jim?
I don't know. I'm waiting here all night, though, so we'll go ahead and get into Major League Baseball portion of the show this week. The Detroit
Brewers.
Let me that wasn't on my radar things I thought I'd hear you say today. All right, let me pull up some stats here real quick. I need to see where things are standing. It's been a day or two. Holy hell.
Oh yeah, we're third back now. I just saw the standings earlier. Are we still third back? Are the Brewers still ahead of us?
It is the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's why I said, let's go Brewers.
They are the best team in baseball right now at 61 and 41.
Come from?
Nowhere. I told you last week, man. I was like, this is one of those teams, the Brewers, the Seattle Mariners. These are sleeper teams that nobody really pays attention to until they are in your face. And the Brewers cannot be more in your face right now. The atmosphere around the city of Milwaukee has got to be electric. You've got to believe. Because
good for them.
Yeah, I guess. Here's your cup of coffee in the big time.
Yeah. A standing ovation, because right now how long are we gonna even spend on this? Because the Tigers have completely shit the fucking bed right now. They've lost 8 of the last 9. The only time they won, they had Skubal on a bound. What the fuck is going on? And I haven't seen any trades come through yet. So what the fuck's going on?
I haven't either. So we got the Brewers, and the tied at second are the Cubs and the Astros. Tied at third are the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Los Angeles is, well, I guess Los Angeles Tigers and Blue Jays are tied for third. And then where's the Rockies? Nope, still at the very fucking bottom.
Where's the White Sox at?
Right above them.
Or second from the bottom. Okay.
Second from the bottom. I'm not being funny. That's exactly where they're at. But the Tigers still remain in control of the AL Central with a 2.5 game lead over the Guardians.
The Guardians are coming on right now too. It's like, what the fuck? We were like fucking 9, 10, 11 games up at one point.
Yeah.
We're 2.5 games up. Like, if they don't get their shit together, this shit's gonna fucking just dwindle right now. Like, what the fuck? We just got swept by the fucking Pirates.
We said the same thing right before the All-Star break. They got swept by the Mariners. And like I'm over here like, please get your shit together during this All-Star break and come out with guns a-blazing. They came out and have fallen right on their face.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? And where is the team that had been dominating the entire league up until going into All-Star break? Like, what is happening right now? Momentum is a funny thing. We've always talked about this. But, I mean, I don't think if I have it internally in me, if they're going to wait until the very end of the season to start turning it back on, and then we have to get to a game 163 to determine a berth in the playoffs or some shit. Like, this team's better than that. This coaching staff is better than that. What the shit is happening right now has me concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it has me a little concerned too, but at the same time, I'm like, if you're going to have a little bit of a slump in the season, I'd rather it happen now and then get hot here in another month or so, and then run it out to the end of the season. I don't want to see them slump as bad as they're doing right now. Like, 8 out of the last 9 losing, that's fucking scary. You know what I mean? Like, if you went 5-4 in that, I'd be fucking happy. Or even 4-5, it's still, you're a little edgy. You're like, are we gonna turn this thing back on? But losing 8 out of the last 9 and getting swept by the Pirates, Don Kelly must be had that team on something else. You know what I mean? Like, because fuck, like it's scary right now because they've been just coasting all season long. And you always have to worry when your team's coasting that well, is there going to be a fall off point? Because the baseball season's long. 163 games is something fucking intense.
Right.
But let's be honest, our bats can get hot again. That's one thing that's been lacking. The bats have not been hot. The pitching rotation, besides Skubal, has not been the greatest. And we need to get back on track here. It's a long season. We're only halfway through. There's still a lot of baseball left to be played. They can still turn this thing back around. If you're going to slump right now, I'm okay with that as long as you turn the shit back on. As soon as they get back to winning ways, I will stop worrying so fucking much. But, giving up that 11 game lead in the Central to only be 2.5 up, that's scary. Because the Guardians aren't a joke. I'm not even going to call them the Guardians. They're the fucking Indians. Like, the Indians are not a fucking joke. Like, they're a good fucking team, and they've always been the bane to the Tigers ever since Major League. When Charlie Sheen pitched for fucking the Indians, like the Tigers and the Indians have gone at it. So they need to just get this shit back on track real quick and kind of expand that league in the Central. Because, yeah, like you said, I don't want to get to game 163 and be hoping that they win it to get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, that's right. Fucked up with the way the season has started. And it's scary. And Jim not being here is scary, too. We need to put out a fucking wellness check on his ass, too.
I did hear from Jim the other day. I'm not going to put all this shit out there, but this season for him, per his the softball league that he's in, it isn't going well. and I'll just leave it at that. They're below the 500 mark.
Hey, that doesn't stop him from coming on the sports reel, though.
I look, I get it. I've said the same thing.
I look at him as an honorary member of this team, and without him in here giving his fucking opinion on baseball, it's, it just doesn't feel right.
Totally.
So, Jim, where the fuck you at, bro? This is my call, and you need to be here every week. Except on Thursdays. I know that, your softball team is below 500, and I apologize about that. If you need a big hitter, talk to me, bro.
Oh, man. All right, let's look what the Tigers have coming up here this coming week. They're wrapping up, or they did wrap up the series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Thursday through Sunday, they're going to be in Toronto to play the Blue Jays.
Tough series. Tough series because Blue Jays are hot.
Then they're going to travel out to Arizona to play the Diamondbacks on Monday through Wednesday. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they have a series with the Philadelphia Phillies. So,
can I say something?
Yeah.
When we were looking at the schedule before the season, we've said this many a times, the Tigers' toughest part of their season was the beginning of the season, and they dominated.
Yeah.
Dominated the toughest part of their season. Now they're to the more lax part of their season, and they're fucking falling off. It's pissing me off. Like, what the fuck, Tigers?
Well, the Blue Jays are turning shit around in a way that people, I don't think, really overall anticipated.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they don't have the Pope. So they ain't going to win shit.
You're absolutely right.
It's going to be an American team.
Well,
just like the Stanley Cup.
I mean, the Americans
won that if they had the Pope, but they didn't have the Pope. America had the Pope.
So that's what makes all the difference here.
Exactly. That's why the U.S. is going to win the Ryder Cup too, coming up here in a couple months.
Okay.
Because we got the fucking Pope.
Right. Okay.
God's on our side.
Who knew that the big guy is sitting up there with an old English D hat cocked off to the side? So love that.
I'm not saying it's always an old English D hat. I'm just saying it's an American team, and obviously the Toronto Blue Jays are not an American team, and they don't have the Pope. So the Blue Jays aren't going anywhere this season.
How long do you anticipate that? So by that logic, what you're saying is the Canadian teams or any other team that is not American based is not going to win a major championship for the duration of the Pope's run here.
I mean, this Pope's relatively, he's in his early, I think, late 60s, early 70s. So he could go for 15, 20 years. So, yeah, Canada might as well just sell their sports teams and just get out of it now because they're not going to win. They don't have God on their side.
If we took just that soundbite and blasted that's the kind of shit that would go viral.
Hey, I'm telling you, TikTok, Jason, just keep hammering those fucking TikToks. I mean, granted, Riverside's been fucking up lately, but Riverside gives us a little option for those little clips. I guarantee that clip's going to be in there.
Oh, 100%.
Yes, that's going to be an awesome little soundbite right there.
Especially
God's on America's side when it comes to sports.
Yep. Let's get the fire extinguishers ready because there's going to be that contingent of people that are going to get all hot about it.
I don't know how well this is going to work out for the Canadian Football League. Apparently, there's not going to be any champions in that league this year.
Well, they just don't pay attention to that. It's just a Canadian thing.
You think God just is like, just let them do their thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't really care about that.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
You'll glance at it. That's cute. All right. Well, the Tigers have, kind of a tough road ahead of them this week. So it's going to be real interesting to see what kind of commentary we have next week when we come back and talk about this. How they do.
Hopefully positive.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
At this point, I'd be happy if they just broke even.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, you guys, get the footing back under you. Calm the fuck down. Get back to basics. Play baseball. Play Detroit baseball.
Do you think this is going to open up for some interesting trades coming up here, though?
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to be? You think starting pitching is going to make a big difference here in the next couple weeks with trades? Because that seems to be where we're lacking. The bats. I mean, the bats have kind of slowed down too, but there's been a couple games where we put up a lot of runs, and still couldn't get it done. So, do you think starting pitching is where we're lacking right now?
Yeah, I think we need a good, solid starter, and it's going to be. I had a conversation at work the other night about this. We're going to see something to the equivalent of when David Price came here.
Yeah.
And, there was such a jolt of electricity when we signed him. I'm part of the fucking team or whatever. When Detroit signed him, there was a jolt of excitement. There was a jolt of anticipation because he had been established as somebody. He was a name. People knew who he was. Was he perfect? No, but he was a threat.
Yeah.
And he did kind of change the landscape a little bit. He at least shook it up. We're going to see that again. We're going to see that with this year. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm not going to even sit here and start to speculate.
Verlander?
No. No,
it's going to be somebody young. But do you think that's what they need to kind of get that jolt back in and get the team excited again and keep rolling? I
think that's a good place to start.
Do you think we need another big bat too?
Yes, I do. I've said that we need one more good, solid bat, a consistent bat, and we need a good starter. And now is the time just to open up the checkbook and go get us the missing pieces that's going to bring us to the World Series.
Yeah, something just to shoot a jolt of electricity into this team. Just a big enough name to get the team excited again and keep playing. Because are they getting bored? Is it getting a little mundane? I don't know. Does something need to change to get them back excited about all this?
How much of it do you think might be? I hate saying it like this because I don't believe it's in malicious nature, but how much do you think ego is starting to take hold of this? They're starting to buy into their own hype or the hype that is being bestowed upon them against not just local media, but national media are paying attention now. Do you think they're putting themselves on a higher pedestal than what they really are, and this is what happens? You start to stumble because you don't have that foundation. You're not ready for that yet at this point.
You look at that both ways, and you look at it and you go, it's such a young team. I mean, Javi Baez is the older person on the team. He's ancient compared to the rest of the team. You know what I mean? He's not even that old. But you look at it and you go, do they have that ego yet? They're all so young. You know what I mean? They went and did their thing last year, and they went pretty deep into the playoffs as a young team. Do you think it's a mentality that because they're so young, they have that ego? They haven't learned to kick that ego trip yet. I could see that. I just don't know if it's true or not. You know what I mean? I don't know if they've been in the league long enough to have an ego. I don't know. I think they're slumping. I don't think it's an ego thing. I think the bats are slowing. And is it pressure? Could it be pressure? I mean, when you bring up the ego thing, I think it more or less to pressure. You know what I mean? Because there's such a high pedestal set on them. They were the best team in the MLB up to the All-Star break. That's a lot of pressure on a lot of young guys. I think it's more pressure than it is ego, to be honest. I don't think they've been in the league long enough for ego yet. But I guess as a young guy, you can let ego get to your head a lot faster than a vet would. But I think it's a lot more pressure on them right now. And I think besides Scooble, who's still holding it together, he was our only win in that. Obviously, at some point, he lost a game in that rotation because we lost 8 out of the last 9. He goes 1 out of every 6. But he went 1 for 1 out of that. Or is it the missing, I know Kerry Carpenter is still out. We need that big bat. I know he just got he's set for assignment with AAA down, in fucking Toledo there. So he should be back here shortly. That's another big bat that we're missing currently at this point. I know Carpenter's he's the boss. I fucking love Gary Carpenter. Like, he's exciting to watch when he's up to bat. That's another big bat. We'll have him coming back. Is it injuries at this point that are kind of out? Because I just saw the injury report, and there's quite a few guys on injury right now that I didn't even realize I didn't even realize Gary Carpenter was out because it's so hard to fucking watch baseball these days.
Right.
Baseball, you know what I mean? But I found out that he's out, but he's almost coming back, so that's good news. That could be the missing link to kind of spark this team on top of whoever we end up getting. But yes, I do think they need another starting pitcher to relocate back to that with trades, and I do think they need another big bat. They need Carpenter back, and I think they'll get back to their winning ways. It's just a matter of time. Let's slump now. That's fine. Let's turn it back on and cruise through the rest of the season. Because I'm part of the team. Not really. But I make it sound like I'm part of the fucking team, too. I know you corrected yourself, but I will not.
See, and I usually don't.
Yeah.
But, like, I got taken to task the other night when I had kept saying, we did this, or we need that, or we, or us. And they're like, what position do you play on the team? Like, just be like a real asshole about it. And I'm like, I apologize if I offended you. I just, the whole fanfare and stuff. I've spent my whole life waiting for a winning fucking football team, and we finally have one. And forgive me if I take a little bit of stake and pride in being a fan of that team. This is also from the same jackass that I told you is a big Chicago Bears fan.
Well, he doesn't fucking count anyways. Not even a real person. And on top of that, you're the 10th man. I'm the 10th man. But we're the 12th man in football. You know what I mean? The fans play just as much of a part of it. I mean, maybe not so much in baseball, but it could be. But you see how much fans can play a stake in a game in an NFL game. You know what I mean? Like, yes, the fans play big roles in some of these games. When you could shut out to where these fucking teams can't even make play calls because they can't fucking hear, that's what the part of the game fan play. And people don't realize how much that, takes stake in a game. But yeah, they call them the 12th man, the 10th man, you know what I mean? In any sport, the 6th man in basketball, every sport has them. The fans do play a big part of the game. Are we officially part of the team? No, I've never signed a contract. I'm still waiting for it. Apparently the ink's drying and I'm waiting to sign it. But fuck. Like, whoever that jackass is, he's a Chicago Bears fan. He doesn't count. He's not human.
I just try to be respectful.
I don't.
But then then they start getting cocky and start puffing their chest out.
When's the last time fucking Chicago won anything besides the Cubs?
Right. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, and it's been we're closing in on 10 years since the Cubs won the World Series.
Yeah,
they won it in 16. So they're 9 years ago. Calm down. And like I'll join you on that. I'm a huge Cubs fan. Everybody knows that. But you need to calm the fuck down. Because I guarantee you, although I didn't pay attention because it does not register to me like that, when the Cubs were in the World Series and were winning, I have no doubt that he referred to himself as us and we, and he was part of the team. But now that it doesn't even matter. Like you said, he's a Bears fan, so we take that into consideration. We give him the curve.
Yeah, maybe. I don't give him shit. You're a Bears fan, you just make bad life choices.
All right. Anything else MLB wise you want to tackle?
Honestly, I just, I'm just praying that the Tigers will get their shit back together, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure we can talk as much shit as we can, but at some point they're going to become hot again, and we'll be fucking just singing their praises again, just like we've been doing all season. This is the first time that we've seen any glitch in their armor. And it's hopefully not a big glitch. You know what I mean? It's we're gonna get back to winning ways, hopefully. And then we'll move on to that. But you know what I'm excited about?
What are
We
you?
We are what was it, 8 days away from the first preseason football game of the year. Football's almost back. I'm fucking jacked. That's my time of the year. Football season is right around the corner, and I'm getting super fucking excited, even though, we fucking had some issues with the Lions this week with injuries. Again, already starting out the fucking season.
Well, like you said earlier, in relation to the Tigers, I mean, if you're going to do it, let's do it now and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And then when it comes right down to it, sorry, that totally threw me off. What?
What in the fuck?
I was just expecting FBI or some shit.
You're getting ready, Jason.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Yeah, that's what it is.
Hide your pillows.
I did. So anyway, let's do it now. Let's get it out of the way and move forward in the season. Because the Lions' window of opportunity to establish themselves as the elite is a fraction of what the Tigers have at their disposal, just the way these seasons are broken down. So if you're going to get fucked up, let's do it now and then get on the field and dominate like we know the team is able to do at that point. So I don't know.
I'm looking at it. So, I mean, you bring up the biggest thing. We had a few people on the pup list this week. I'm going to go back to my thing. Obviously, we had Taylor Decker out, Khalil Dorsey, Miles Frazier, and Lee McNeil. We knew Lee McNeil was going to be out, and Rodriguez. They're still recovering. It's going to be about halfway through the season before we get them back. Mackie Wingo. I don't know who that is. And then we had Josh Pascal still out. That's another one that hurts. Stanley Thomas Oliver. And then Levi, I can never pronounce the motherfucker's last name. Anzawarkokuki, everybody. I don't know. Levi. This dude, he is now out. Levi Onwuzurike. Okay, that's the only time I'm going to try pronouncing that, and it's probably wrong. He's going to be out for the season again. He's torn ACL. What the fuck happened? Was that they haven't even practiced that hard yet this year, so I'm not really sure what the fuck happened. But he's out for the season again. It seems to be an ongoing thread with him. Is it time to move on from him? You know what I mean? Is it time? I mean, when he plays, he's great, but he seems to be more hurt than I am, and that's fucking weird because I'm hurt all the time. So I think it's time to move on from him. Honestly, he's great when he's on the field, but he played 3-4 games last season, and that was it. I don't even remember if he played the season before. And this season, he's already out for the entire season. It's time to move on, get out of that cap hit, re-sign Zadarius Smith. I'd like to have that piece back. Most of those other pieces, like Decker and everything that were on that list, he's going to be back just fine. Hearing good things about the draft pick this year, fucking Taylor Ratledge at center. Who knows if they're going to stick with him at center or move Graham Glasgow to the center position and keep Ratledge at guard. I see upsides to both. You want to build a center for the future, so why not put Ratledge in that position? Which I know we were talking last week. He had not signed his rookie contract yet, but in between last week and this week, he did sign his rookie contract, so we're good to go there. But I see upside of trying him out at center. We always have Glasgow to fall back on. He was the fill-in for Ragnow. Still upset about Ragnow retiring. I understand it. We're going to move past that, you know what I mean? But Glasgow can fill in that position. Ratledge can build up to that position for the future. Glasgow's obviously getting older. Decker's getting older. Decker's going into his 10th season. That's, that's a lot of seasons for a lineman. Usually they don't last that long. Some of these players go on and play fucking 13, 14. I think Travis Kelce's going to his 13th year as a tight end. You don't get that out of certain other positions. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
tends asking a lot. Some of these guys don't make it 3 years out of the field. Running backs are usually 3 to 5 years. If they go longer than that, like Derrick Henry, you know what I mean? But Derrick Henry's a freak. So it's one of those things. We also need to look at the future. I see where they're going, but I think right now with Levi out, time to cut him. Let's move on. Obviously, he's not going to be there this year. Josh Paschal, hopefully he's ready to go. Let's re-sign Zadarius Smith. I know it's a $12 million hit, which is going to suck in the long run because I know we re-signed Hutch to the 5th-year option, but we still have to re-sign him to a long-term deal. I don't know what the fuck they were waiting on. I wish Dan Campbell was here to talk about it in the universe, although he wouldn't give any fucking insight on that anyways. I don't know if it's waiting to see if Hutchinson comes back as healthy as he was. That's a big injury. I mean, he broke his leg clean in fucking half. That's a crazy fucking injury. But I think that's probably what the holdup of was re-signing him before all these other things, because that market's reset's going to cost him. By the time they re-sign him, he's going to be $50 million a year. Like honestly, and like that's going to be a huge cap hit. So I'm starting to look at the Lions right now, and I hate to say it, but it's almost win now, because in the next few years, you're not going to be able to afford it. What the shit? That's Dave. Hold on. PBA report. Hurry up.
Okay, with the PBA report this week, Tony Lint leads the PBA 50 Hamtramck Singles Classic. So, that's great news for him. When does this thing pull? See, I had it all pulled up, and then it backed out of me. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, Dave. I tried to have this stuff ready for you, man. Okay, so the top 10 at the Hamtramck singles, number 1 is Tony Lint. Parker Bowen is 2. Tony Oliva is 3. Okay. That's your PBA report.
Dave, it's good to see you. Yes, the Michigan Panthers are possibly leaving. It's not official yet, so please bitch. It's good to see you. We were going to send out a wellness check on you because we haven't seen you in a few weeks, and that's odd. At least across one of the shows. You haven't been on any of them, but you haven't been doing too many live actual other shows, because I know the Close to the Heart with Amy on there. Dave pulled out apparently, which is probably good because Dave doesn't need any more kids, do you?
Oh man, that was fun. I think he may have been corresponding on Fatal 4-Way on Friday.
Well, you didn't fill me in on that. I've been worried about Dave.
Well, listen. I don't man the chat on that, but now that I think about it, I'm like, I wonder, because they said somebody was blowing up the chat, and I wonder if it was him.
It very well could be. Dave's the fucking man that blows up the chat and keeps this shit fucking entertaining and active. So it's Dave. It's good to see you, brother. I'm glad that you're okay, because I haven't seen you on the sports reel in a few weeks, and since this is my only show right now, it's hard to see, because I mean Fatal 4-Way is cool. It doesn't have me on it. So.
No, it happens during family dinner night. So,
yes, it does, which is very important to me, because at the root of everything, I am a family guy. Family always comes first above anything. So, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, he was on Fatal 4-Way. He was talking about Buff Bagwell's leg, or lack of leg at this point.
He was trying to get the leg up.
Yeah, we now call him Buff Tripod. Or Dipod or One Pod. Actually, you know, I mean, Buff Bagwell, I know Buff Bagwell's cool. The first time I met him, he was kind of a dick. From there on out, every time I met him, he was cool as shit. So I do feel for Buff right now and his thing. And another thing I want to do right now, because I totally forgot about this. I want to bring up the fact that Ozzy Osbourne passed away this week. And I know, you know, this is a sports podcast, whatnot, but Ozzy Osbourne was one of those names that transcended not only, you know, music, but, you know, popular culture, everything, sports, WWE. I mean, he's part of the WWE Hall of Fame. Ozzy Osbourne, you know, that guy was fucking amazing, and it's sad to hear about his passing, especially 2 weeks after his, you know, his final show there. How'd you feel about this?
I was stunned by the timing of everything, but I remember watching the clip of the final song that he did, "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and I remember watching that and thinking, we don't have much time with him. Yeah. I had a feeling like the way he sounded, the way he looked, I just felt like, damn, man, we are on borrowed time, and we're going to go back and look at that performance as his ultimate goodbye to his fans, because he knew. I don't know if he knew, or I sure as hell, I don't think anybody did, that it would happen so soon after that. I thought it was a joke at first, until reputable sites started reporting on NBC News and, you know, reputable news organizations. I'm like, okay, this is real. This is happening. And I'm bummed, dude, because all you need to say is Ozzy, and people know who you're talking about. He's one of that select group of entertainers that can go by just one name, and you know who it is, and you know the legacy that he leaves behind. Music, absolutely, but his work on the Osbournes, you know, in a reality TV audience, introduced him to a whole new crop of fans who were entertained by what they were seeing on the TV screen, but then did that research into his music, and they realized, holy hell, like this guy is something special. So yeah, it was very sad. Between that, you know, that happened a couple of days after Theo Huxtable passed away, and that fucked me up for a minute. And I was like, God damn, man. So we're going to be talking about that next week on this day in the 1980s. I'm sure we're going to be spending quite a bit of time on Ozzy and Malcolm Jamal Warner. So
there's two big names from the 80s there, but yeah, it kind of affected me too. Like there's been a few names out there that, you know, not even passed yet, but it's like, you know, celebrities, they pass away, they get old, but there's a few names that kind of hit you and it goes, holy fuck, you know what I mean? Because Ozzy was one of them for me. Like when I heard it, I was like, damn, like that's fucking sad, because, you know, his music has been kind of like a soundtrack to certain parts of my life. You know what I mean? It's Ozzy Osbourne, and you never thought that he would ever die. It's kind of like certain actors I have the same feeling for, that like I'm scared for the day that they pass away, like Clint Eastwood or fucking Morgan Freeman, you know, I mean, names like that are like, I don't want to see these guys ever pass away because they're so iconic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like so many of either with Ozzy with the music, or with like Morgan Freeman or Clint Eastwood with with their movies. You know what I mean? Not even the movies, just, you know, Clint Eastwood his movies in the last 15 years have been more iconic than I think the beginning of his career. They're just great movies, even the ones that he's just directed. But like those are names that were him. But Ozzy it hit me hard. You know what I mean? Like I actually felt sad, and usually you don't really feel that with certain celebrities, because it's like celebrities do stupid shit, and like Ozzy, I mean, I think Dave made a comment here a minute ago that Ozzy's died like 14 times. He probably has. I don't know. Like, he's lived a crazy fucking life. He says, I remember seeing him at Memorial in 1983. I'm actually, Dave, my mom tells me about that concert all the time because she went to that with my dad. That was the year before I was born, and she talks about that concert, how she went. My dad dragged her to Ozzy Osbourne in 1983 at McMorran. So I've heard about that concert. Unfortunately, I wasn't alive to see it at that point because, yes, I was born in 1984. I'm the young one of the network, even though I'm not young. I'm an old ass man.
You are.
I'm 41 fucking years old. I'm an old ass man. But him just saying that just brings back my mom telling me about these stories of going to see Ozzy at McMorran in 1983.
Jesus Christ, Tim. I just looked over on the chat and saw your comment. His leg forgot to kick out.
I hold no punches, Jason.
Holy shit. That's
Was
great.
he going to fucking hobble over to me and try to beat my ass?
Well, you take that crutch and stick it up your pee hole.
No, I mean, in all honesty, I feel for Buff Bagwell. I'll talk shit, but yeah, like the first time I met him, he wasn't a dick. Okay, the first time I met him, Buff Bagwell, he was just he was kind of standoffish with all of us guys in the back. It was fresh out of him getting out of WCW. So yeah, he probably had a little bit of a high head, you know what I mean? Or fresh out of getting fired from WWF or whatever fucking happened there. You know, but every time that I was on shows with him after that, he opened up. And actually, one of my best moments was talking about Buff. And I know we were on Ozzy, but I had a match up in, I think it was in Alpena, and we came back from the match. It was a tag match. It was me and my buddy Jeff. We were Southern Justice at the time. And we came to the back, and Buff came out, and he said, "Oh, it's a great match, man," and all this other stuff. And I was like, "It's cool as fuck." You know, Buff's, you know, telling me I had a really good match, all this other stuff. So, yeah, that was kind of – and he was cool every time I ever met him after that. So it was the first meeting where he was kind of like in his own world. You know, he wouldn't really talk to a lot of us, but after that, he opened up. I mean, Dave said that he was cool every time he met him. That was cool. I had one weird experience with him and great experiences after that. So I know Buff said he was planning on getting back into the ring at some point. Do it, Buff. I mean, there's another one-legged wrestler out there that does quite well, Zach Gowen. Much credit to Zach Gowen. I have a lot of respect for him. I've been in the ring with Zach Gowen. Great worker. It's a little odd, you know, to work with him, but he talks you right through it, and it works out great. And all the respect in the world for Zach Gowen. So if Zach Gowen can do it, I'm sure Buff can put his mind to it and make it happen too.
At least do something for your one-off. And I mean, I could take this down the sidebar, but I'm looking at the time. We're at the top of the hour here, or we just crossed the 1 hour mark. So why don't we go ahead and take this opportunity and send this over to Tim's 2-minute golf report.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Oh,
but
gee.
guess what? Tim's 2-minute golf report brought to you by the PFC Entertainment Network. This is the Sports Reel. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cover the. Let me get back to you because I'm switching through fucking computers right now, or screens. I've been drinking. Sorry. That's what happens every time. We're going to go back to last week. We had the Open. Once again, Scotty Scheffler comes out there and puts on a fucking clinic and wins this thing by 5 strokes. Scotty Scheffler, second major of the year. This brings me back to, before I get into the rest of the field here, Phil Mickelson had put out a post before this season started and said that Scotty Scheffler would not win a single tournament this year, you know, and all this other shit. Now he's eating his words because Scotty Scheffler has won, I think it's 6 tournaments this year and 2 majors already. So he's just showing why he's the number 1 golfer in the world. Is he on track to catch Tiger? I don't know. I think I had put a post on the Sports World podcast page earlier this week that showed like Scotty's first 70 starts, he had 0 wins. His last 76 starts, he's had like 17 wins and 4 majors. But yeah, back to the Open. Scotty Scheffler, number 1. English, number 2. Goddard, who won the Scottish Open the week before, finished 3rd. Lee 4th, tied with Fitzpatrick and Clark. Schauffele, McIntyre, and McIlroy tied out round 7. McIlroy had a good run at this thing. He kind of fell off on day 4 there. Had some bad shots, kind of got himself into some trouble and kind of fell back a little bit. But let's be honest, Scotty kind of ran away with this thing, so it was hard to keep up with them. Connors, Harman, Henley, and DeChambeau all round out the 10 spot. DeChambeau, I've been keeping my eyes on all year. He's been running hot this year. No majors this year, but he's come close a couple times and he's been playing really well. I just wonder if he doesn't get to play enough because he's part of LIV, that if he played more, he would kind of maybe succeed more in some of these. But since they play a lighter schedule, he doesn't get to play as much. But I know he's dealing with some ball issues right now. And he's dealing with a lot of spin rate issues. He's been trying out different balls, trying to help him because he has such high club head speed that it's kind of hard to find a ball that can handle his club head speed. 14th, we had Hajgaard and Ricky Fowler. My kid was excited about that. Good to see Ricky finish out 14th there at the Open. Then we had Matsuyama, Svensson, Kari, Hajgaard. Some of these names are fucked up. Why is golf so fucked up? Hatton, Rose, Fleetwood, all in 16th. And we go down the list. JJ Spawn, he's been hot this year. He's 23rd. That kind of rounds out the Open there. This week we got coming up the 3M Open. And some of the names playing. Big Dick swinging Cam Young is playing in this thing. So is our favorite guy, Lanto Griffin, who gave my kid a ball. And there's some other names in there. But I want to stick to the Open for a minute and look at Scotty Scheffler once again, showing why he's number 1. And it really starts bringing into question. There's been a lot of talk this week about whether or not he'll ever catch Tiger. Like, Scotty's 28 years old. He's got a lot of golf ahead of him. Now, if you listen to him in interviews, he's going to play this as long as he feels happy to play the game of golf. He's more concerned with what's going on with his family than he is golf. He doesn't get as excited about these wins because he said, when I wake up the next day, it's like, it's like I got to move on and do the next thing. So why get as excited about these wins? He's more about setting goals that he has. I kind of wonder, like, he's so close to that Grand Slam now. The only thing he's missing is the U.S. Open. Do we see Scotty having a career long enough to compete with Tiger? Or do we see him kind of after winning the U.S. Open and, maybe a few other wins after that, does he kind of just decide to take a bunch of time off and kind of back off the sport a little bit? I wish I would play his interview, but every time we do, we get fucking wiped.
Right.
But if you get a chance, go listen to Scotty's interview about, when he wins and all this other shit. But what's your feeling? Do you think he's going to play long enough, or do you think he's going to wait till he wins this Grand Slam? He's one major away from doing this.
I feel like if there's already some degree of buzz when you start putting him on the trajectory that Tiger Woods had, like, I don't know enough about him personally to kind of get a gauge as to how his brain is wired, but I would believe if I was him, that would more than motivate me to do everything I could to continue my pace to see if I can overtake the greatest of all time. Because at 28 years old, barring any major injury or some significant setback, whether it's personally charged or professionally charged, why wouldn't you give yourself a shot at making history and continue to move forward? I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I would low key be on that path, on that hunt. Can I accumulate the kind of career that's going to be talked about in the same breath as Tiger Woods, who was talked about in the same breath as your Jack Nicklaus, your Arnold Palmer, some of the biggest names of all time. If you're going to make a Mount Rushmore of golf, from my perspective, like at least two of those three of those are going up there immediately.
Yeah, the top, those three names alone,
right,
stand up there, and you're looking for the fourth.
So could Scotty Scheffler be the fourth one? Does he want to be the fourth one? That's the other part of this. What is he wanting out of this? Is he just looking to get into it and be the best that he can be at this point, so that he has a safe living accumulated financially, and then he's going to bow out and try something else? I don't know. But if you're being compared at this point to Tiger Woods in any capacity, I kind of feel you owe it to yourself to see how far you can go. I don't know.
I look at that and I go, so Scotty's 28 now, and he's had a mad amount of success over the last few years. His first 70 starts, 0 wins. I was listening to an interview with Bryson the other day, and he was talking about how he played against Scotty in college, and Scotty wasn't that good. So Scotty's turned it on over the last few years. And Bryson said that. He's like, he's one of the greatest that plays today. I wonder, because Tiger started out so young, and he was so successful at a young age. Now, obviously, injuries kind of slowed him down as he got a little bit older. You get up to the 09, 2010 era, and then injuries started to stack up on Tiger, and he started to slow down. I know he won the Masters in 2019, but he hasn't really been relevant in golf since then, besides the name. You know what I mean? Nobody brings eyes to golf like Tiger Woods. That's one thing the PGA is missing this year, is the lack of Tiger Woods in a lot of these tournaments. Even if he's not doing well, he still draws a huge crowd because he is the greatest of all time. Let's face it. I mean, I know he doesn't have as many majors as Jack Nicklaus and not as many wins, but overall, you look at the competition factor, and you look at when Jack Nicklaus played compared to when Tiger played. There was more competition, and Tiger was more successful over a long period of time. That's a lot of argument that I'm hearing right now about Scotty, is the competition now that Scotty's going against. I mean, people are saying maybe a little tougher than what even Tiger went against. You know what I mean? Like, Tiger, his first half his career, you had your John Daly's, your Phil Mickelsons. There were some other names mixed up into that list, but the competition wasn't as hot as it is now. Phil Mickelson really didn't get really good until later on. And I heard Phil Mickelson say this, that like he used to get his ass kicked by Tiger early on in his career. And then the later half of his career, him and Tiger are pretty much tied now. And, wins against each other because Tiger started dealing with injuries. And I worry about that with Scotty as he goes forward, because Scotty, I know you don't watch a lot of golf or play a lot of golf, don't understand a lot of golf. Scotty has such an unorthodox swing to where he is very steep in the way that his foot movement works, and he throws his body out of it. I worry about injuries as he gets a little bit older. At 28 years old, we don't worry about as many injuries. The shit that I could do at 28 compared to now at 41, like I wish I could do the shit that I did at 28 years old compared to now at 41, when I could barely get out of bed in the morning. You know what I mean? So you start to worry about that, and he's got a long way to go. I mean, he's got, I think I was looking at that, 17 wins. Tiger's got over 100 wins on the PGA Tour, which is fucking insane. So you're going to have to play a long time, and you're going to have to jump into a lot more tournaments. And obviously, we have another tournament going on this week, the 3M Open, which we'll cover next week on the thing. Scotty's not playing on it. I am totally understand why. He just won the Open last week, and he's doing, I mean, Dave just brought up Scotty is like Happy Gilmore. Very true, but Scotty's at the Happy Gilmore doing all the press for that and stuff like that, because Scotty's in Happy Gilmore, the new one coming out on Friday. Netflix, Friday, the new Happy Gilmore. I'm so fucking jacked to watch that movie. So excited about it. But there's a lot of golfers in that. Scotty is one of them.
Are you having a viewing party?
I didn't plan on it, but if you want to come over and watch it, you're more than likely to come over and watch it.
I'm so goddamn nervous about that movie, dude.
Oh, it's It's not going to be as good as the first one, but it's going to be cool. I mean, you look. I was looking at previews of it. The heckler in this one is fucking Eminem with a beard, like with a weird fucking. I'm like, so he threw in all the fucking hats in this one. But there's a lot of pro golfers in this one. Scotty Scheffler being one of them. I think Rory's in this movie as well. But it was cool to watch. They did the premiere, the red carpet, whatnot. And Scotty actually brought the claret jug from the open win to it. So that was pretty cool to see. Like, he's just living it up right now as the open winner. So obviously he's not going to play next week. But he seems to, every time he plays, he fucking dominates. Because there's been a lot of tournaments he hasn't played this year. But when he's in the field, he fucking dominates. So that makes me go, if he played a little more, he could catch Tiger. But I just don't think he wants to. He's more about his family than he is anything. And you know, the wins only add up for so long. And I think once he makes a certain amount of money and he finishes that US Open, I think Scotty Scheffler calls his career early.
Well, that's a respectable thing to do if you're going to focus more on your family than monetary gain. You know, I can totally appreciate that. Dave,
they said this as long as 2 minutes. All right, Dave, I will. That's Tim's 2 minutes of golf, brought to you by the PFC Entertainment Network on the Sports Real Podcast.
I do appreciate the Tiger is the John Cena of golf comment, and then Scotty is like Happy Gilmore. I do appreciate that made me chuckle a little bit. All right. We've covered the UFL. We've covered MLB. We covered a little bit of NFL. We covered golf. Anything else that we need to touch on this week that came across your radar before we put a bow on this week's episode?
The last thing I want to say, and I talked to you earlier about this week about this, and it's about the day that we're going to be recording, correct?
Yeah.
It's going to be moving. We're going to be moving to Tuesdays at 6:45 for the recording, because my buddy who was on the show with us last week, Eric Mendel, is going to be joining the show. And I thought he did really well on the show. So Tuesdays from now on at 6:45, we'll be going live on Facebook, YouTube, Riverside, I'm sure the show will drop on Spotify, probably a day early, whatnot. But yeah, so Eric's going to be joining the show. We got Eric Mendel coming onto the show. He was a fun part last week. I thought he added a lot of good insight to a lot of things. He's going to be great during football season, so let's get all excited about that. But I wanted to warn everybody, Tuesday, 6:45 p.m., Sports World Live on the PFC Entertainment Network on Facebook.
And with that move, the Close to the Heart podcast, the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network, will be moving to Thursdays. When the Sports Reel moves to Tuesdays. So a little bit of a shift in our schedule, but it's one that's going to be the pros far outweigh the cons. And we're very excited about bringing Eric on board here in an official capacity as part of that show. I thought he did a great job last week. Very entertaining, very engaging. And he's going to certainly add a unique dynamic, a layer of dynamic to the show. So we're very much welcome him as a full-time member of the Sports Reel podcast of the PFC Entertainment Network. And like Tim said, we will be switching to Tuesdays.
So Close to the Heart's going to Thursdays?
Yes, sir.
I do have one thing I have to say there.
What's
I've been
that?
enjoying the last couple shows. My wife has joined that show. But you got to give her some love in that intro. You got to.
There is a new intro being constructed.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like she's like the last two shows have been fucking awesome. My wife just has that way of she's fun to listen to. Like your guys' little your energy between each other is fucking awesome on a podcast. It always was when she was on the Sports Reel or on Sports Real. On the Real podcast, to now on Close to the Heart. The last 2 episodes you guys did were fucking amazing. Catch them on Spotify. They were fucking fantastic.
Appreciate that. I'm sure she she does too. It's pretty cool that the Sheridans have become a podcast family. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. For one more week, you can head over to PFC's summer.printify.me for your last chance to snag any of our summer swag before the fall lineup drops. I gave a couple of previews, one on this show. I did another one on the flagship show. August the 15th, the fall lineup will drop for the merchandise. Back to school and all this stuff is going to be incorporated in that. And then not too far after that, and already in production, is the holiday lineup. So all kinds of fun stuff over at the official online store of the PFC network, pfcstore.printify.me, pfcsummer.printify.me, and you can check out all the latest news and information across our socials or at One Stop Shop at pfcnetwork.net. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Oh, fuck. Start winning, Tigers. Gosh damn it, start winning. Go, Scotty. Go, Scotty. Start winning, Tigers. Go, Lions. 9 days.